Hey, we're Kurt and Denette Schaer with the Broken for Better podcast.
Yeah, and together we're on a mission to equip and empower marriages. We want to strengthen families for everyday life.
Enjoy the episode.
Welcome back. Welcome back. It is time for another podcast.
Right.
You look great, by the way.
Thanks. So
You look great in our new digs, by the way. Come on now, get up for a new setup.
I like it.
I feel like we change this every time we do this. Something's different, either your hair or the room or the chairs. So
I've been having a few questions about my hair because we've been posting some old clips and people are messaging me on the side like, did you go back brown? What has happened? Girls, I'm hiding the grays. No, it's blonde. Those are old clips. The hair's blonde and gray. It's a little bit of both.
Yeah, things out of order make it look like you're absolutely frying your hair.
It looks like I don't know what I want to do. Like I'm back. I'm all over the place.
So we are Kurt and Denette with the Broken for Better podcast, and we are two best friends having real, authentic conversation.
Right. Yeah.
And so we welcome you, and we hope that today gives you a tool. It gives you encouragement. It gives you equipment that you would need, that your relationship would go from wherever it is to at least one notch higher. And so today, I just want to talk about the things that I think we do well. Okay?
Maybe not always, but
Not
often.
always. But I want to talk about the things in our relationship that we have really worked on.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And so they've become now, I wouldn't say second nature because we can lose them very fast if we're not careful.
Of course.
But they're definitely things that stay in the forefront. So I want to talk about 10 ways to love your spouse.
I like it.
10 ways to love your spouse.
Yeah.
And you're just rolling with it today. So this is conversation. I'm going to fire it out there. I'll throw one or two out. You throw one or two out. And then we'll bounce it back and forth. And let's go.
All right. I have one
Go.
that I know speaks a lot to you, especially you. I think, not even I think, I know that, there's different ways that males and females love to be loved, and respect for a male is huge, if not the biggest way. So one of the things that I know speaks highly to your heart is when I praise you in public and correct in private. So like that's difficult though, right? When we first got married, even like with stories, like, sometimes maybe the details aren't just right. I'm like, no, that's not how it happened. Or you missed that part. That's not where we were. And, just little things. That's a little example. But when we're correcting our spouse in public and not in private, it can be degrading, right? Yeah. It doesn't mean that you're wrong, because maybe they missed the story or they missed the date.
Well, you know that moment that it happens because like all of a sudden a challenge is made of a story, or that's not the way it happened, or it wasn't like, or I didn't feel that way. And then all of a sudden now I'm running in my brain like, wait, did that not, am I lying? I didn't lie. Like that's how I perceived this. And it turns into like this whole awkward moment. And when you're the other couple in that moment, you're like, awkward.
Yeah. And it's like, does it matter if it was on the 4th of July or the 5th of July? And
hey, listen, when you're a fact fighter, it matters what date it was on.
Well, and I think because like that's a sticky point in our relationship, right? Because you like to fight facts, and I'm definitely more the feeler, the emotional being. So for me, if the fact is wrong and I know you're a fact fighter, it almost like rises up in me that I'm like, no, I have to correct him. Like that's not the way that happened.
Well, see, then this is a real thing. Like, if you look at your relationship, many of us in conflict resolution are fact fighters, and you have to have the date right. You have to have the day, the time. Like these facts matter. Now they mean absolutely nothing in the grand scheme of the story, but they matter when I'm a fact fighter. And so in these moments, it's like facts really do matter for me. And so I get you being like, oh, well, that's not right. But then I'm like, because it just absolutely degrades like the honor in my soul.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't really even talking about the day. I was more sharing this collection of a story that really mattered. So
yeah. So what that looks like is, you let them have the story, you listen to it, and then later, away from others, have conversation. Hey, just so you're aware, I don't believe that's the way that happened. Or, hey, that really bothered me when you said this story that was a little too intimate for me. Like, I don't want that story shared in public. Like, we can correct still. We don't totally sweep it under the rug and not address it. But when you honor your spouse in public and then correct in private, it speaks honor to them. It speaks respect to them. And it lets them know that they're the most important person, not necessarily the story, not necessarily the situation. You're important to me, so let's have this conversation off. So,
Yeah, I really hate when you give too many details or go too far in a story in public. I don't ever tell you that. I'm the one with that issue. I'm
I
always
was
the
like, "Wait,
one.
what? Are we serious right now?" I'm like, "Oh, we're gonna have talk about facts right now," because that's I'm like, "What?"
I'm always the one. Man, I think I
I'm
don't
like,
know that
"Too
it's
far." My eyes are like, "Too far. That's
ad
too far."
libbing or embellishing. I don't know, but I like to have so much fun with it. And
Yeah.
then I realize sometimes I gave too many details.
Yeah, we were just watching a comedy show last night, and it was a guy who was raised as a pastor's kid, and he was like, "Just so you know, if a pastor's sharing a story about their kid, that's probably not the full way that went down." Because I'm like, our poor kids, their stories got embellished, I'm sure, and I would be like, "Babe, no."
I remember, and we're totally
I
rounding
know,
it,
sorry.
but I remember like at one season of my life, I was going to use my kids as illustrations, and they were getting old enough that it mattered. When they're little kids, they really don't care. They don't even
Yeah.
know what you're
Well, a
saying.
couple of them liked it. They liked the attention with someone like, "Is that you?" And then we had one in
Yeah,
particular that was like,
one that did not.
don't talk about me up
So
there."
I started like giving them a heads up. Hey, just so you know, I'm preaching this weekend. I'm going to use this story. And I remember the questions coming like, are you going to tell the
The
real
real
story?
story?
Or are you going to tell like
Your
some
own
version?
version.
And I'm like, well, we're going a little bit with it today, but you're right. One of my oldest, bro, don't ever tell a story about him.
He's like, "Listen, leave my name out your mouth."
My youngest, it was like, "Hey, how many stories do you have about me today?" Like, how like
He's like,
he
"Roll
was
it out." He's like,
send
"That
it
was me.
full send.
That was me. Hello."
You needed it. I remember, like, he was like, "Are you using an illustration? I'll help. What do you need?" He was a lot of my illustrations in my sermons. So really, really
Okay,
funny.
back to
Yes, back
back
to
to
here.
the 10
Another
ways.
way we can love our spouse. Now, this is a big one for me,
Mhm.
and I don't know. You can give your. I really want to hear your heart on this, and we actually have never really broke this down. One of my love languages is acts of service,
Yeah.
and so um, helping around the house is a huge way to love me.
Yeah.
You're not really an acts of service. That's not even one of your gifts, but I know you love it when I help around the house. So
Yeah.
even though acts of service isn't your thing, what is it about helping around the house that
Hmm.
for you is like this huge way to speak love?
Yeah, well, for me, well, we tease all the time that, like, one of the sexiest things ever is a man doing the dishes or vacuuming, right? Like, "Grab that vacuum, let's go." But
I
for
just now walk around with the vacuum. I'm like, how sexy is this? Sexy? You ready? Like,
For me, it honestly isn't even because you're right, that's not my love language. Acts of service isn't my love language. So it's not that, it's speaking to my heart and taking something off of my plate. So, especially since I'm a feeler and I've got this long list of to-dos in my head, when something's taken off my to-do list that gives my brain space to have time to focus on other things, for it speaks the worlds to me, right? It speaks so much
mm,
value to who I am and that you see the things that need to be done as well because it's not just my responsibility, right? We both have responsibilities around the house. We both are supposed to try to outdo one another in love, and how do we outdo one another?
I think that's where
So,
people push back is like not my responsibility, right? Because if I'm out of the house, now our situation's different. We both
yeah.
do what we do. Um, but if I'm working in an office all day, there were times early in our marriage,
Mhm.
you raised our boys. I was out at a construction site or working or doing what I did all day, every day, and I would come home.
Mhm.
And I think coming home, um, and I don't know if I saw my mom who was so good at this. Like my mom was a homemaker as well, and she just did it. So I came in with like this thought or this expectation, right?
Expectations for sure.
Of like, oh, I'm gonna be out of the house, and then I come home and everything just is.
Yeah.
Well, we're different than my mom. My mom did it her way. It was amazing, and we grew up in a very special like environment. But maybe the way you did it was different, right? But I come in
Yeah.
with this expectation of like, wow, this should be so when it's not met in the way that I thought, it really now goes, oh, she's lazy. She doesn't honor me. She doesn't respect me. Like those are the
Tell me how
feelings
you really feel.
that one
Just kidding.
that one could wrestle with. Zero in that thought process did I ever think, wow, sacrificially, she's been loving our kids all day. Maybe I should put things down and help her.
Yeah.
That was just not a concept of mine. Now
Wow.
I was a completely wow, wow, you never thought that? Wow, I thought
Wow.
that often,
I was like,
like, but maybe I should have thought it more.
yeah.
And in a healthier version of myself, I do think about it more.
Well, I think that's one of the things we try to tackle, when we do our long, when we do the premarital coaching, we do like a long one day, where we get into the weeds. We do like the testing and all of that to see where the expectations are on both parties, whether it's chores, whether it's things they're bringing in from their past, intimacy, all the things, the expectations. And we didn't really have that. So we kind of stumbled into marriage, you having your expectations, me having mine, never really discussing, "Oh, wait a second, you think I'm supposed to do all these things?"
We
And
really didn't.
we didn't. And so that's why I think helping couples walk through those red flags, and they're not even red flags, but like those barriers that they could stumble into marriage, not knowing, oh, my spouse, my to be spouse thinks all of these things are my responsibility and vice versa.
Mm.
It's so unhealthy. And I do think the generation behind us, like our kids' generation, I think does a much better job with kind of talking about those expectations ahead of time. Those gender roles have definitely changed. When we got married, the gender roles were still very like,
I
this is your job,
wonder,
this is mine.
so we do all of our premarital stuff. We're certified Symbis coaches, and so we do all of our stuff through Symbis, and they have an exhaustive list, like 30 things. Take out the trash, make the bed, and
And that's just chore related.
just chore related.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, these are crazy. But I wonder what our conversations would have been had we had to fill that out.
You would have probably, especially you were so unhealthy, you would have like had all the chores listed on your mind.
100%.
And I would be
There's
like,
no doubt about that.
take this list back, buddy. That would have saved us a lot of turmoil.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder, or would it have created more conflict?
Yeah.
Because I was so unhealthy that if you would have looked at me and go, no, these aren't my roles. We have to do this. Sacrificial love wasn't even a concept for me.
No, and then when those, when you did start to help, it almost became like a, "Hey, did you see what I did? Like, I did this."
100%
And
it
I'm
was.
like, "I do that every day. Like, why should I reward you because you helped with the dishes?" Like,
But
yeah.
and honestly, I think when we talk about reverting back to younger versions of ourselves,
Mhm.
we grew up, especially boys, you grow up with this need for someone to see you.
Mm.
Hey, well done. Hey, great job. Hey, I'm proud of you. Like, you just want to hear your parents, your baseball coach, your teachers. You grow up in this idea that you want to hear that. So when it switched for me where it was like, okay, let's start doing things. There's part of me that was going back to that little boy that
Mm.
goes, "Hey, I'm doing something. You're proud of me, right? Like, hey, I did it. Did you see it?" Versus like, what if, now I may do stuff around the house and it's like, yeah, no one's ever going to see that I did this, but I'm just doing this because I live here. And
Yeah.
this is why,
Yeah.
I often wonder where you stand on this, but it's pretty clear. But no one's gonna like, hey, well done. But I do it just because this is like, man, we're helpmates for each other. I want
Right.
to help you. I want to take things off of you, and you help me. And it's like I do it just because now. But the unhealthy part of me was just that boy that wanted somebody to go, oh, I did something. Tell me I'm good. Tell
Oh.
me I'm good.
Yeah. I think
So
that goes both ways, though. I think women want the same thing. Like, we want to be honored when it comes to someone acknowledging the things that we do, and I think often that goes both ways. Absolutely.
huh.
And he goes, "Huh." That definitely goes both
I thought you
ways.
just grew up like, well, this is what I do. I'm the homemaker. So it's like
No. No, for someone who hates chores, no. You wanna see grumpy Danette, catch me on laundry day. I'm like, "No."
uh
Oh, I hate laundry. Anyways, okay, another another way to love your spouse, and this one really speaks to me, is when you give them time to refuel, like alone time. And I think we both need this.
that speaks to you more? I
As
think
an
that
as an introvert,
well,
yes.
you always wanna be alone,
I
though.
know.
I didn't know that refueled your soul. I just thought you don't
Yeah,
want
absolutely,
this is what
yeah.
people this is what I love about my wife. My wife can people, and she can people well. Like, to know Danette is to love Danette. Her humility. I mean,
Oh,
just
thanks.
the sensitive side of her, the soft side is great, right? Like Kurt's is spastic way too much, and Danette is this thing that just settles him down. But what people don't know is as much as she can introvert a whole lot more.
Oh, I love that so much more. Just give me a book or a craft project. I
And a
just got
pillow.
a and a pillow. Yes, yeah, 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 but alone time to refuel, and I think often that isn't seen as a need. I think
Mm,
especially when you're newly married or you're young in marriage, you're like, "Oh, if they want time alone, that means they don't wanna be with me." And it really depends on personalities, and there is unhealth to that too. If there's too much time alone, right? Isolation isn't beneficial. But when it's done with boundaries, like, "Hey, I need a
yeah.
little bit of time just to unwind," and that whether or not that's watching a favorite movie or reading a book or building a 3D puzzle or a craft project or something.
Or
We
your
just
newest thing. That she comes home the other day, Amazon came, which that guy, we're not on a first name basis. I got no
Yeah.
idea. Shows up and he's like, and she's so excited. She's like, they came in. I'm like, what came in? My coasters. I'm like,
I have a
what do
little
we need coasters for?
coaster craft
And
project.
now we have a hand making coaster craft
They have the
project.
little diamond, like, jewels, and they're cute, and they, like yeah, it just centers me. I don't know. Anyways, but alone time can refuel, and if it's speaking to your spouse or allowing them to be a better version of themselves when they come out, and I think that's really key, and we
Yeah.
often tell couples that, if your partner's alone time is hanging out, we well, we literally had this one time. Someone's like, "I love my alone time," and she said, "He's hanging out at a strip club."
Yeah.
That's not alone time. That's not beneficial to your spouse when
Actually,
you're that's the
not
epitome of
love.
not alone time, yeah. So, we also have to be careful how we label our alone time and what we're doing in our alone time, right? There's boundaries,
Yeah.
but when the alone time is beneficial to your spouse when you're done with it, it centers them and speaks life into them, then it's important.
Well, I think religiously, there's Sabbaths, right? You take a
Mhm.
Sabbath. You see, Jesus broke away often and to be with the Father,
Yeah.
and was just recentering him. So we take spiritual Sabbaths,
Yeah.
like where we break away and we just get alone. So even personally to refuel, a lot of it's who you hang out with too. Like I
Mhm.
have guys in my world that, when I spend time with them, I am absolutely a better version of me. I'm a better husband. I'm a better father just because that ironing, sharpening iron. It was like, man, like
Iron.
ironing, sharpening iron. A bunch of us ironing
It's
together.
a lot of ironing.
Um, we we make each other better, and so when it's done right
Yeah.
with parameters and things like that, it's almost there's been times where you're like, hey, why don't you go hang out with the boys? Like
Mhm.
you need that. You want to go
Yeah.
because it makes me better.
But
So
it's also because I know the people you're hanging out with are trustworthy. And there have been seasons of life where you've voiced to me and vice versa, hey, when you leave that group of people or that person, I don't necessarily like who you come home as, right? So
yeah.
it's that, yeah, that safety.
So this is obviously this next one is one that those who know me know that I'm about this life. Go on dates.
Yeah.
Gotta date your spouse.
Mhm.
Man, one of the greatest ways that you can speak love, worth, and value into your spouse is to date them.
Mhm.
We often talk about when we were dating and courting each other. Man, we did everything to win your heart. Like I
Mhm.
just wanted to win your hearts. I wanted to take you to the places you wanted to go. I wanted to do the things that you wanted to do. I just wanted to spend quality time. Man, this girl had me in a library working on a research paper. It's like our first date. It was our first alone date.
Well, you asked me out. You were like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm writing a research paper." And you're like, "I'll go with you." So I was like, "Okay." 'Cause well,
I said I'll go with you,
yeah,
or
you
you
did.
said if you want to be with me.
Well, I mean, pretty much. I was
Yeah,
like,
okay.
"I'm writing a paper." And he's like, "Are you
Okay.
serious?"
I'm not sure I'm volunteering to go to the library, but anyway, that's the thing. And I think about now, fast forward almost 28 years married, so it's almost 31 years together.
Mhm.
If you said, hey, Kurt, I need to go work on writing and I'm going to head up to the library. You want to go? Our first date, I'm like, yeah, I'm in.
Yeah.
I, I would not go to the library today. You know, But it just shows, like, some of it's different, right?
Right.
But the reality is you see what I would have done then just to be in your presence versus now I'll find reasons to not be.
Wow. Yeah.
Date your spouse. It matters.
Yeah. For the record, I probably wouldn't want you to go with me because I was like, I'll get nothing done.
Well, no, the reality is here's the truth of that date. We sat in the library for 4 hours and did nothing but crack jokes and laugh.
I had like the first paragraph done.
We didn't get nothing done because we just goofed around the library. I mean, the fact that Kurt was in a library was the first joke, but it was like hilarious. Temple Terrace Library. Is it still there?
Yeah, it's still there. It's right behind your brother's fire station.
First off, who goes to the library anymore?
I know.
What a dork.
Kurt.
Like,
I love taking the kids to the library. That was fun. Wait, I guess I'm the dork. Hello, everyone.
No,
That's
but
me.
you haven't been to the library and I don't know. Let's not take that back.
Books.
I apologize. That's not right. Some of you probably get a lot done in the library, and it's amazing for your soul. It's great for your kids. Go to the library. There's more resources and education there.
We'll just say one of us had different.
C's get degrees, baby.
C's did get degrees. Some of us had different ideals on education. We'll just put it that way.
We did.
One of us homeschooled the children. One did not.
This one is not sponsored by your local library.
No.
This podcast. Listen, here's what we're going to tell you. Find ways to love your spouse today.
Yeah,
these are just a couple. The list is exhaustive.
We didn't get through the 10.
We did not get through the 10. But this is where you get to create.
Yeah.
Find the thing that speaks the most love, the most empowerment, and the most encouragement to your spouse. Sacrifice. Do the things that you don't want to do just to show the pursuing of your heart.
That's right.
I love you.
Love you too.
Love doing this.
Yes.
Listen, we'll see you at the next one.
Thank you so much for watching.
Yeah, we encourage you. Check us out on all of our socials at Broken for Better for more ways you can be plugged in.
Yes, and if we can help you or your family with anything like coaching or other resources, please connect with us at brokenforbetter.com.